Onionhead and more. Okay, today we're going to talk about earthquakes and how they relate to transverse and longitudinal waves or magnetic and dielectric waves. The earthquake is the largest example of the electrical forces that are present in our dimension. So first, let's get a quick explanation of what the two main types of earthquake waves are: primary waves and secondary waves.
Turns out there are three types and two subtypes. There are P waves, S waves, surface waves, and there are two types of surface waves: love waves and Rayleigh waves. Actually, it's Ray. There's a missing Y. Rayleigh waves. Love waves, by the way, and Rayleigh waves are named after different seismologists. Some Mr. Love and Mr. They have both be Mr.'s. Mr. and Mr. Love and Mr. Rayleigh. So let's talk about P waves. P waves are what we call primary waves. P stands for primary. P, primary. Let's make some notes here. They're compressional. They are the fastest of all waves. There's four types of waves, right? They are the fastest, the ones that go the fastest, and they can move through both rock plus liquid. This is important later. They can move through rock and liquid. Let's take a look at what it looks like. So you kind of see it's compressional. So it compresses the ground, and does it make sense? As it sort of pushes on it. And let me go back and see if you can see it. See, boom, push, and it compresses it. That's the direction of propagation, as you can see, is in this direction. So that's what a P wave looks like.
This is a dielectric longitudinal wave. And you can see this in the primary wave of the earthquake. It's the exact same wave. It's faster than anything else, just like dielectric is faster than the speed of light because it's counterspatial, right? It's not expanding out into space like this would suggest. It's collapsing into space.
So that's P wave. Let's jump and talk about an S wave. Now, an S wave, S stands for secondary. And here's the thing of the S wave. Only through rock. It can't go through a liquid. So if it hits a liquid, it stops. All right. Obviously, it's in its second fastest, we'll say.
This is a magnetic wave. And the magnetic wave has problems with liquid because of its transverse nature. And that will make sense in a second.
And it moves, let's say, side to side.
More like up to
direction of the
down.
propagation is this way, but what you're going to see when you see the little animation here in a second, watch how it moves. See how it goes side to side, kind of up and down, I guess, a little bit. Let's watch that. And it creates the sort of a wavy thing, but it's usually starting deeper in the, think of it like a rope, I guess. You've ever played like ropes upstairs in the training center? It has that kind of a look to it, doesn't it? Boom. So that's what the S wave looks like. And then there's the surface waves. Now remember the surface.
Okay, now the surface waves are more peculiar. So we have the dielectric that is a compressionary wave. It compresses in, it's counterspatial. We have the magnetic wave. It's a transverse wave. It goes out. It's tensionary, almost by definition. And then we have these, what they're calling these surface waves. So that was the primary and the secondary in earthquake terms. The surface wave is the magnetic tensions, right, as they come to the surface of the Earth. But also you can think of this, the Earth is a giant toroidal, and that'll make sense in a second, but comes to the surface of the toroidal, goes to the outer extents of the toroidal. And the outer extents of the toroidal is where the dielectric energies, the counterspatial energies, bring it back in. And again, this will make sense in a second. Actually, let's just go ahead. Let's make it make sense right now. This is the radial energy right here. This blue would be the dielectric ring where it's the greatest. Inside here, there's dielectric energies too that are working like this ring but smaller as it gets farther away from the main propagation, the 0 point, which is right there. This yellow, that is magnetic forces. The yellow is, you can see it's a toroidal, okay? This is a 2D image of a 3D representation. That's why it's a little confusing. But it'll continue to make more and more sense. So just stick with me here. So here's the main compressional force right in the middle in blue. Here's the main magnetic forces. Here, let's call that the North Pole and the South Pole. Okay, so this is the toroidal top view. That's what we're looking at when we see this ring. Okay, this is in 3D. This is a more accurate representation of what's going on because it's in 3D. These lines right here are the magnetic forces. And you can see it's not just that they're going up and back down, it's that they're spinning too. They have a precession, right? And you can see it's turning because this whole thing is turning and it turns like a gyroscope, which again will make more sense in a second. The dielectric forces are in blue, the magnetic forces are in red. They are opposed to each other 90 degrees. When the dielectric is at its highest, or in this case it would be electric, but that's really dielectric, is at its highest, the magnetic force is at its highest, meaning the opposition is the greatest. And if we go back here, that's what's bringing these magnetic lines back in. Without that opposition, that 90-degree angle, first of all, you wouldn't have this precession, and second of all, you wouldn't have it come back, right? It's coming back, the magnetic forces. And the way all of this works is like a gyroscope, okay? And the gyroscope is working, or the dielectric forces are the spinning weight in the middle. I'll explain that better here in a second. Okay, so right there, the dielectric ring, and you can't see the magnetic lines here, but what you can see is the precession. And if you look closely, it's the same precession that the Earth has. Well, isn't that fascinating? Now you see as it slows down, the precession gets greater. Okay, as the dielectric energy slows down, meaning the flywheel in the middle, the precession gets much greater. The vortex that we're seeing manifest right here, this is the magnetic lines that are showing the vortex, gets more and more unstable. And because the dielectric isn't making the compressionary longitudinal waves to pull all of it back together, to keep it together, I should say. On the North Pole, you've got counterclockwise vortex coming out of magnetic lines. And on the South Pole, if we could see it, we would see a clockwise. All right, but it's the same thing, just inverse down here where it starts. So that's clockwise. And as it comes up here, it's counterclockwise. North Pole is, in this case, counterclockwise. South Pole is clockwise. That's what South Poles and North Poles really are. The reason I'm bringing all of this up is to show you that even that we can see this manifest at all levels of reality. These same electrical forces. And the reason I'm putting it on the channel is because I've been making the claim over and over that you need to demagnetize, or I've also said deionize your body, meaning take out these extreme charges. And extreme would be your body is magnetic. That's a more accurate way of saying this. Your body has been made magnetic through the poisoning of the food, air, and water, through the introduction of synthetic biology and nanomachinery in your body, and through various magnetic technologies, which you could also call directed energy weapons. That's the majority of the communications. So it goes beyond them being just weapons. They're also carriers of information that are utilized by our machinery. But they're also dual purpose. Almost all of them are dual purpose weapons. So your body has been magnetized by those three things: the poisoning of the food and air and the water, the nanomachinery, synthetic biology, and the directed energy weapons, communication infrastructure that's all around you. It's not just that, it's the electrical lines on every block, or in every street. It's the ones going through your house. All of it's magnetizing you. So you need more dielectricity, okay? And this is just to show you that the magnetic poles clockwise and counterclockwise. Counterclockwise being in red, clockwise being in blue. And what this is right here is this is the center of this. This is the top and the bottom. Again, this is a 2D image by Ken Wheeler. All right, I learned all of this from Ken Wheeler. Thank you very much. And now I'm passing it on to all of you. So you can learn the secrets of the universe, and more than that, you can heal yourself through this crazy time. Okay, this is the book that I read of Ken Wheeler's, Uncovering the Missing Secrets of Magnetism. If you read this book, you will learn what I'm talking about in a greater way. So now back to earthquakes. We are going to finish with the surface waves. And what are the surface waves now that we know the fundamental properties of electromagnetism? Or a better way to say it would be the dielectric and magnetic interface. Maybe not a better way to say it, more accurate way to say it is the surface waves are the different angles of the magnetic reciprocation, right? Because those are transverse waves. The surface waves are transverse waves still, but you can see at different points of the magnetic phenomena, there is a different trajectory, a different inertia, and that's because of this gyroscoping that we talked about earlier, right? That's because at different points of this counteraction, there's different angles of momentum, angles of inertia. Maybe that's not the right way to say it. Angles of momentum would be the better way to say it, of magnetism. Okay, and so here
remember the surface waves, there's two kinds. There's the Love waves and the Rayleigh waves. Now, the surface waves are, I'm sure you're probably surprised, they're on the surface. So there's not much to know except they're on the surface. And the Love waves, what they do, well, let's just take a look at what the image looks like. You see how they're going side to side, if you will? So if we go back here, they're moving back and forth this way and this way, right? So, and then
it's a transverse wave that's moving left to right at the same time. Now, why would that be happening? It's the same reason this is happening, because this is a vortex of energy. This is spinning at the same time, like we saw right here. Okay? So we're looking at the energy, and that's why I showed you the gyroscope. We're looking at the energy go up and down and left to right, because the left to right is the spin, counterclockwise or clockwise spin.
Watch what happens when it moves across, side to side. Does that make sense as you're seeing that?
And where is this seen? This is seen on the boundary of matter, which is the surface of an earthquake, the surface of the Earth, which is where we're talking about the surface waves exist. The boundary of a toroidal has this same effect.
You're still going to see this. Here you go. See that?
These varying angles of magneticism and the momentum of it.
Let's watch again.
As it goes out into the world.
Okay, there we go. Side to side, boom, and then it creates these surface waves. Now it turns out the surface waves, you want to jot this down, I'll just go back here. The surface waves, both the two types, the Rayleigh and the Love waves, cause the most damage to buildings, people, and everything. So the surface waves are the worst of them all from a damage perspective. All right, now let's look at the Rayleigh waves, or Rayleigh waves, I'm not sure how to pronounce that.
That's the same idea behind using these dual-purpose communication-directed energy weapons, right? That causes the most ionization, this radiation, and magnetic forces are radiating to some degree always. The difference is, do they say it's ionizing or non-ionizing? Meaning, if you believe in particle theory, but we're not even talking about particle theory, but that's what it fits into, does it take away an electron or add an electron? And a better way to say that would be, how much does it affect stability of the entity that has the dielectric magnetic balance, right? Because that balance generates structure, and that structure is interactable with, i.e. matter. It could be less dense than matter, which we would consider like gas or liquid or plasma. But either way, the dielectric and the magnetic create this vortex, and enough of these vortexes get arranged, and you've got some sort of thing that we're interacting with. These directed energy weapons and communication infrastructure, and just basically the way the electrical infrastructure is in general, are interacting with that. if they interact with that to a very high level, there's a measurable field effect, meaning the magnetic ley lines associated, ley lines using that term loosely, associated with that object or that thing become severely impacted and are twisted outside of the counterclockwise and clockwise. More or less, the idea is that what we're going through right now, the depopulation, is that your body is made magnetic to be interacted with in this way, to break these natural flows of the dielectric and the magnetic vortexes. And the love wave and the Raleigh wave, the earthquakes waves, surface waves that cause the most damage, are very indicative of those weapon systems. All right, let's finish this Raleigh.
Watch what happens. See, it kind of up and down, but it's really kind of big time. And actually, the Rayleigh waves are the worst ball game of them all. This is the ones that's going to cause the most damage to everything that we see. These are the Rayleigh waves. All right. So again, 4 types of waves when we talk about.
Okay, and then this last one, the Raleigh wave, is the most destructive, because exactly what I was talking about. There is this magnetic force is interacting with the dielectric one, the primary wave, right? Because the primary wave has to happen first, then there's the secondary wave, and as the secondary wave interacts with the primary wave, interacts with the surface, you get the love wave and the Raleigh wave being the damaging surface waves. And if you look right here, it has got a counterclockwise motion to the direction of propagation, right? So basically the most disturbance of the natural flowing of energy. And in this case, it was caused by structural changes within the earth. But in your body, going back to the reason that I'm talking about this right now, that would be the directed energy waves, the 5G, 4G, 3G, the extremely low frequency, the ultra low frequency, the, pick your poison, right? It's all around you. It's bombarding you constantly. That's what that's causing. It's causing the breakup of the vortex. And if we could see it right here, it would almost be like there's a line being drawn through these yellow lines, and it's starting to go back towards itself. So like if you could take this line, imagine it's cut off right here where my mouse is pointing, and it's starting to move back into itself, starting to go against its angular momentum, against the gyroscope precession, and then coming back around. So it would go like yellow line would come down, go back, and then come down. Okay, so the reason I brought this up is because I wanted to show you through earthquakes what I've been talking about on this channel. The solution to what we're going through is more dielectric energies. More dielectric energies and more healthy vortexes. The easiest way to do that is just to spin up copper. I know I've said it 100 times, and I'll probably say it 1,000,000 more before I leave this world. Spinning copper creates a dielectric ring. If you spin it radially, which means like this or like this, right? And you put the copper on that side, you spin it like that. So big, as much copper as you can, you spin it as fast as you can, you'll get the biggest counterspatial sink, which is a way to say dielectric energies will form compressional waves, and as that energy comes in, the natural balance of this dimension is to create a magnetic vortex. That magnetic vortex that is created out of the dielectric ring will ultimately help you also, because it will interact with the magnetism in your body and help clear it. But that's a little convoluted for right now. The dielectric energy is what we're after. It's also like the earthquake, just like in the earthquake, it's the primary wave. It's more powerful, it's quicker, it's faster acting. Hope that wasn't too rambling, and may God have mercy on us. Tweet, tweet, tweet. Tweet, 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 tweet.